there was a congressional baseball practice this morning, and apparently what happened is, this was in Alexandria, Virginia. Apparently what happened at this congressional baseball practice is some guy with a long gun shot, I have heard, between 15 and 100 shots at the people on the field. Representative Steve Scalise, who is the House Majority Whip, was hit in the hip, I have heard. I heard a couple other Capitol Police were hurt. I'm going to go check my Twitter feed now and just see what the latest is, because I'm just getting this information real quick and I don't really know, have the latest here. So let me get the latest here. Let me do a couple things and I'll get this information to you as quick as I can. So I'm just going to check a couple things real quick here. So, and again, sorry, I didn't really have time to prep because we're just... This just happened and I saw it was happening. So give me 1 sec, please, and I'm going to get a couple pages up here and be able to get you this information. Okay. That's not there yet. Okay. All right, so I'm going to look at my Twitter feed here and see what I can get you. Okay, so this is, let's see, this is from Joyce Karam right there. You can see that, and it says, let me see if I can blow this up a little bit. Shooting on Republican Congress baseball practice. So it was a Republican Congress baseball practice. I did not realize it was just Republican. That makes you wonder, was it targeted against Republicans? In Alexandria, Virginia, Steve Scalise shot. It was an active shooter with rifle. I've heard the shooter might be down at this point. So let me see if I can get more information on this. I'm going to go through my feed here. No. Rebecca Berg of CNN is saying the man was wearing running clothes, asked Duncan, Representative Jeff Duncan, are those Republicans or Democrats out there practicing, per source familiar. Now that doesn't even mean necessarily, it could have just been a crazy person who was going to shoot whoever was out there, no matter what he was asking. But let's keep going down the field. Again, there was a congressional baseball practice this morning, Republican congressman, and a person fired a bunch of shots at people. Shots fired. I'm just trying to get you more news. Let me go down a little further here. I'm just going through here. Going through. Sorry to speed through like this, but I'm trying to get you. So Steve Scalise was definitely shot. This news is coming in very slowly. I thought we'd be a little more detail here. Okay, so this is from Conflict News. Let me show you this. Gunman with rifle attacks U.S. congressional baseball practice. Reports of 50 shots fired. I'm sorry, I want to open the chat room as well here and get it down here. So reports of 50 shots fired. I heard anywhere between 15 and 100, so it could have been less, could have been more. According to Representative Mo Brooks, Steve Scalise has been hit. CNN is reporting that 2 police were shot. Fox News was reporting that Scalise... Fox News is saying the shooter's not dead, but it's been apprehended and taken to the hospital. At least 5 people wounded at this congressional gathering. I saw Rand Paul on TV just a few minutes ago. He was there. He didn't get shot, but he was there. So this information is coming in. Again, there was a congressional Republican baseball practice this morning in Alexandria, Virginia, and a shooter just shot a lot of shots. Steve Scalise, I heard a report saying he was in stable condition, that he got hit in the hip. I have not, that was on MSNBC. I haven't had it confirmed yet. Let's see if I can get some other stuff here for you. Trump statement on shooting. From President Trump has released a statement on the shooting. It says, the Vice President and I are aware of the shooting incident in Virginia and are monitoring developments closely. We are deeply saddened by this tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with the members of Congress, their staffs, Capitol Police, first responders, and all others affected. Sorry, let me just retweet this out. Okay, let's see if I can find something else. Let me go back to me real quick. I'm searching around to get you some more information here. That's Steve Scalise in the corner there. He's the House Majority Whip. He was shot this morning, among other people being shot at a congressional baseball practice with Republican congressmen. I heard it was Republicans. And hold on one sec, folks. I'm just trying to get a little more information here. Okay. I'm getting differing reports about whether the gunman's been killed or not. I've seen reports that say he's been killed. I have reports that say the gunman hasn't been killed. Multiple aides were also shot. I'm seeing a report on Breaking N Live were shot at this baseball practice by a gunman with a rifle. I heard there was a gunman with a long gun. He started firing at the practice. This was this morning. News Executive, I'll show you what they're reporting right now. So we have News Executive reporting. House Representative Steve Scalise, multiple aides shot at congressional baseball practice by a gunman with a rifle. Majority Whip Steve Scalise was shot in the hip and transported to hospital. Gunman was shot by Capitol Police officers. Shooting appears to be a deliberate attack. Shooter was middle-aged white man. Asked if Republicans were on the field before shooting. Congressman Steve Scalise is in stable condition after being shot in the hip. 4 others also shot. Gunman reportedly killed by police. I'm not sure if the gunman is necessarily killed or not. I've heard different things on that. And the gunman, actually, we see down here below, the gunman he's a suspect who opened fire at GOP, is in custody and is not a threat according to the police. So he's not actually dead. Just getting this information in here this morning. It's a bad story. It's a very strange story. It's frightening. Let me get off of there. I'm just trying to get more news as it comes in. That's just the same story. Steve Scalise appears to have been shot in Alexandria, Virginia at a congressional baseball practice. Still looking down to get some more stuff here. I'll search a couple other sources. Let me show you. The Drudge Report had a big headline about it. Oops, that's not where I want to go. So, Drudge Report has member of Congress shot, Scalise in stable condition. Details are kind of trickling in right now. Gunman opens fire at congressional baseball practice. This is from Daily Mail. Daily Mail's reporting. White man, quote unquote, targeting Republicans. Shoots 5, including House Majority Whip Steve Scalise with a rifle at early morning congressional baseball practice. Gunman opened fire on the group of GOP figures from the dugout. From the dugout? He was in the dugout? At around 7:30 a.m., he fired between 50 and 100 shots before he was eventually shot by one of the group's security guards. Steve Scalise, who's in the House Majority Whip, was shot in the hip, airlifted to a hospital. Congressional staffer was also shot in the leg. It was a GOP baseball practice. I'm just going down. The shooting took place around 6:30 a.m. at a practice field in Alexandria, Virginia. And it sort of makes you wonder, if they're having this practice, I would assume, I'm just going to guess, I don't know for sure, but I would assume a guy wouldn't just be randomly out there with a rifle at 6:30 in the morning. Maybe he knew that practice was happening. Oh, that looks like, is that Steve Scalise in that picture? I'm not sure. That is Steve Scalise. I can't tell if that's Steve Scalise in that picture or not. Doesn't say. Republican Mo Brooks was also there but not hurt, and you can see what he said. He said, suddenly there's this face. I noticed the guy's got a rifle and he's shooting right at us. He says, the group were practicing batting when suddenly he saw the guy's face in the dugout, which is right near the practice field. I mean, it's just it's basically on the practice field. It's just on the edge of it. He starts shooting at us. He took shelter with others in the group, who include Gary Palmer. He watched Scalise leave a trail of blood on the field. He was dragging his body to second base to get away from the shooter. He was shot in the hip. I do not think it was a life-threatening wound. A blood trail about 10-15 yards long. White, skinny, middle-aged male. I'm just looking here. Okay, so that was that report. Let's see if we can get anything else for you. Again, Steve Scalise shot in stable condition. Gunman arrested, not dead. We have that from News Breaking in Live. Just looking for some more news here. Here's Rand Paul. Rand Paul talked about it. I want to play a little bit of this if I can. Let me play this. I just got to turn the volume on here. So hold on one sec, please.
Senator, thank you for being on with us. Can you tell us what you heard and saw?
Well, I was in the batting cage at the time, and the first shot was sort of an isolated shot. You know, I grew up in the South, and I just thought someone had discharged a shotgun, which isn't that unusual in the South. But then I thought, well, we are in the city. We're not in the country here. But then after the first shot, then there was a rapid succession of shots, 5 or 10 shots. So I'm outside the perimeter. I'm on the right field line, and the batting cage is outside the field. There's about a 10-foot fence between me and the field. And in the field, I see Representative Scalise is shot but moving, and he's trying to drag himself through the dirt out into the outfield. There are two staffers in right field, only about 10 feet from me, but there's about a 20-foot fence separating me from them. And they were laying down, but then I'm seeing the shots hitting the dirt around them. And they're trying to make a difficult decision. Do we lay here, stay low, and hope he doesn't hit us? And this is a difficult decision, or does the shooter just advance and come closer and shoot you? And so you have to make a decision at some point whether to stay or run. And so one of the staffers scrambled up over the fence. It was probably, like I say, a 15, 20-foot tall fence. He did it in about 2 seconds. I don't think I could have done that. So I'm on the outside of the fence, and he and I are hiding behind a tree. But the gunshots are landing in the dirt in the outfield and around us.
Scary scene painted by Rand Paul, who was actually at that practice. He was not hurt at the practice, but that was Rand Paul. We are covering, again, to bring you up to date, if you just joined us, there was a Republican baseball practice, Republican congressional baseball practice this morning. A guy was in the dugout and just started firing a rifle at the people on the field. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise was hit in the hip. He is in stable condition. Several other people were also hit with shots, we hear reported. The man was reportedly taken into custody. So we're just trying to get news in as quickly as we can, get any more information about this. And if you want to write in, if you see any interesting information you want to share with us, any tweets or anything, or if you have any thoughts on this, you can always write to me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner. So let's see if we can get more information here. Let's see. Jamie Dupree writes, for those outside of DC, the Congressional Baseball Game is a popular event on Capitol Hill. Lots of morning practices. Representative Brad Wenstrup, a physician, tells me he treated Scalise at the scene and that Scalise is conscious and okay. Okay, so let me go back here for a second. I want to check. People might have written me. Top Turtle says, we need to have Congress quit their Trump stuff and shut down the terrorism going on in this country. Gian Diata said, did you get any sleep last night? Nice job covering the fire. Now the shooting. Thank you. I haven't gone to bed yet. I was going to go to bed and this happened. I will go to bed soon enough. William Schroyer said, Senator Paul said the gunman was using the side of the dugout and shooting around the corner. So we are just covering this here, trying to get you more information on this. And I want to be careful here. Just because this was a Republican practice, that doesn't mean it was targeting Republicans. It could. I have to think at a certain point, if somebody's shooting somebody from a dugout right next to them at a baseball practice, it's highly probable it's not necessarily true, but it's a very high probability that that person has some kind of mental illness or some kind of mental problem. And, you don't really know why they're doing what they're doing. So I'd be careful of just assuming, oh, this was a person and he hated the Republicans, and you just don't know, when somebody's doing that kind of thing, what exactly their state of mind is. So I just think we should be careful here before attributing motives and that kind of thing. Let's see if we can get some more information here. Nothing there. I don't have my normal Reddit feed. Let's see, let's see what maybe what publications are talking about. So the New York Times covering it. Congressman among those reported shot in Virginia. They say 5 reportedly shot. At least 5 people were injured, according to Representative Mo Brooks. About 50 shots were fired. 50 shots were fired, congressional sources said. Boy, if 50 shots were fired and that guy was shooting that close, I think they're lucky the damage was not worse to people, because, man, that's a lot of shots from very close range. Let's see. Is this now Joseph Miscavige? Is this tweet from somebody who was there or something? I'm a little confused. It says trip to the Y. Were they in Virginia, and what's going on in this tweet? That's a bullet hole there, but I don't know if that's... I can't tell where this is. Sorry, guys. I don't really know where that is. So, anyways. Just trying to get you more info, searching wherever I can. Everyone, news executive says, shot. All 5 people who were shot are in stable condition after shooting. So that's good news. See if I get anything else here for you. Ryan says it's clear this was an attack on Republicans. Ryan, I beg to disagree. I think at this point it's not clear. You got to wait and see. I think you have to wait and see. They have to talk to the guy. It could just be a nutty person, and he woke up today and decided to do this. Maybe he doesn't have a history of anti-republicanism. Maybe he voted for Trump. I don't know. So it's at this point it's everybody can think what they want. I personally think that the wise thing to do here is to wait till we get more evidence about what who this person was and what they were acting on. And if there's somebody, if they have a history of mental illness, they might have been doing this for some random reason that's hard to even understand. But thank you for writing in, Ryan. Okay, let's see if we can get some more information here. Gunman is in custody. Now, I saw this report, and it's hard to say what to make of it. It was, as Breaking 911 says, reports of a suspicious man asking if Republicans or Democrats were playing minutes before Steve Scalise and others were shot at the event in Virginia. However, for all you know, the person who asked that was not a person who's not the shooter. It could have been somebody else walking by and just saw this game going on and asked that question. So, I don't want to jump to conclusions here about why this person did this when we don't really know. Donald Trump just sent out a tweet. Representative Steve Scalise of Louisiana, a true friend and patriot, was badly injured but will fully recover. Our thoughts and prayers are with him. That's from President Trump. Representative Mo Brooks tells CNN that Rand Paul, Ben Sasse, Jeff Duncan were also at the Alexandria this AM. Representative Wenstrup aided wounded. So Sasse, Jeff Duncan, and Rand Paul were all there at the game, at the practice. See, this is where I disagree with some people. So Paul Joseph Watson just tweeted out, terrorist attack targeting Republicans, Trump derangement syndrome radicalized by mainstream media hysterics, warned about this for months. Now, could be. Do we know? No, we honestly don't know. Maybe the guy wrote us a note and it's at his house, and that can explain what he did. So all I'm saying is could be, but I think we should be careful here, because you don't know, and especially when you get into things with like people who are maybe mentally ill. If that was the case here, then it starts getting really iffy to say, well, this was a long concocted plot or something. I mean, if somebody's mentally ill enough, they can just wake up today and decide to go do something without really planning it before. So I'm going to wait until I hear more about the person. Two police officers and a Hill aide were reported to be shot, in addition to Scalise. I'm just seeing if there's more information here. If you want to write in, give your opinion, or if you have found any news items, any tweets or anything you want to share with everybody, feel free to give me a shout on Twitter. I'm at Lookner, at Lookner. Let's see. And yeah, wife Noe, as we did report, there is this report going around. I don't know if it hasn't been verified as far as I'm aware, that someone near the field before the game asked if it was Democrats or Republicans out there. We don't know if that was the shooter or not. So, just another piece of information. We'll have to see what the authorities end up saying. Okay, a little more update here, a little further update for you guys. Ted Cruz tweets out, praying for our friends, colleagues, and all hurt or impacted by today's terrible shooting. The vice president, Mark Lauder, says the vice president has canceled his speech to the National Association of Home Builders this morning. He's heading directly to the White House instead. Jeff Flake says, a Republican says, we took shelter in the dugout after 50 shots fired. Flake was at bat when the gunman in blue jeans started his rampage. How crazy is that? Ugh, what a bad situation. We are covering this breaking news. A shooting at the Republican congressional baseball practice this morning. A man apparently in the dugout, not far away from where they were practicing at all, had a rifle, I heard, and started just firing and fired around 50 shots. House Majority Whip Steve Scalise was hit in the hip. He's in stable condition. Reportedly, 2 officers, Capitol Police officers, and an aide of some sort were hit. 2, they're all in stable condition. Those are the reports we have. Now, if this says second congressman shot, let's see, what does this say? Oh, Roger Williams says shot in Virginia. Well, what is this here? This says Representative Roger Williams was shot too. Oops, hold on.
Moderate that we could until they could get.
So it says Roger Williams was shot. Do we know anything more about Roger Williams being shot? This is the first I've heard that another congressman got shot. Let me just see. Oh, look at that picture. It says House Democrats praying for our House GOP Senate colleagues after hearing about the horrific shooting. I don't know if this is House Democrats, and I don't know if this is a different practice at a different field. Maybe it is. The gunman, Brooks said the gunman was using the dugout as cover and estimated the assailant got off 50 to 100 shots during the attack. So it's like miraculous, like more people weren't hit. I want to check up on this congressman who might have been shot here. Gabby Giffords, who got shot in an awful shooting, if you remember, when she was a congressperson. Is she still in Congress? No, she's not anymore. But she says, my heart is with my former colleagues, their families and staff, and the U.S. Capitol Police, public servants and heroes today and every day. That is from Gabby Giffords. Let's see. Was it Roger Williams? Is that who the person we thought might be shot was? The other representative? Look at this. This is from Chad Pergram. He says Representative Roger Williams, head of the baseball caucus, was hit and taken off on a stretcher. That's not good. Oh, Patrick down here says reports I'm seeing say he was in good spirits. CNN is showing footage of Roger Williams hobbling onto a stretcher. That's good news that he was able to hobble onto the stretcher. Oh, and it also says, Matt Fuller says, Roger Williams wasn't necessarily shot. Jeff Flake said members jumped into the dugout and may have been injured doing that. Let's see here. Oh, I guess the Congressional Baseball Game for Charity is supposed to go on. It's supposed to be tomorrow. That's what Jim Swift seems to imply in this tweet. Wow, I didn't realize it was so close to now. Vice President Pence has posted a tweet. He says, Karen and I are praying for Steve Scalise, the Capitol Police, and all hurt for a speedy recovery. Our hearts are with them and their loved ones. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We're covering this breaking news. A couple of House representatives were shot, Roger Williams and Steve Scalise, along with apparently 2 Capitol Police officers in some sort of aid, congressional aid, and this was at the Republican baseball practice this morning. What did I want to get for you? Oh, and I want to, again, if you'd like to send any news you find in or give your opinion on this or anything, give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter, at LOOKNER. I probably won't be on for that long this morning. I apologize. The problem is I was up all last night covering the London fire. I was just about to go to bed. And this came up, and I wanted to get on the air and talk about the breaking news. So I apologize if this broadcast is a little shorter than the normal breaking news broadcast. Wife Noe says, fair point. Glad Trump's tweet was not politically charged. I think he knows that the obvious need not be stated. Sit back and watch the left eat themselves. Is this working yet? Oh, I'm sorry. Nope, that's not working yet. Let's see. I'm just seeing if there's any more news here. Kellyanne Conway says, well, Mike Huckabee said Capitol Police deserve gratitude for heroism. Stops shooter of GOP congressman in VA. Thank God for sacrifice of law enforcement. And Kellyanne Conway says, perfectly said, gratitude to them, prayers to all. Look at this. Republican politicians were hiding in the baseball dugout for at least 10 minutes until security responded. The gunman had a rifle and a pistol. Wow. Looks like that's a photo of the field there, maybe. Cassie Dillon, who we know, says Alexandria police will be holding a press conference at 10:30 to comment on this morning's shooting. And if you give me, I need about 30 seconds here. I'm going to run off for about 30 seconds or so and come right back. So I will leave it on the Drudge Report for about 30 seconds. Don't go away. I will be right back. I am back here. This is Right Side Broadcasting. We're covering this breaking news of a shooting at the Republican congressional baseball practice this morning in Alexandria, Virginia. 2 congressmen were shot. Steve Scalise and Roger Williams. Reportedly, they and the other people who were shot, 2 Capitol Police officers and congressional aide, are all in stable condition. I don't know about Roger Williams, but reports were saying he was okay. But the other 4 I know were supposedly in stable condition. Steve Scalise got hit in the hip. There was a man in the dugout who fired about 50 shots, reportedly, with a rifle from a dugout right nearby them, which is crazy. It seems like good news that nobody got killed, actually, and not more people were hurt. Jesse Lose says, Scalise is my senator and he's a good man. Thanks for all you do, RSBN. Thanks, Jesse. And I think Scalise is in the House, so that might have just been like a typo and you meant to say he's my congressman, because I think he's the House Majority Whip. Let's see. Yeah, he's a Republican. He's a Republican House Whip. So, but thank you, Jesse, for writing in. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, so we've been covering a lot of breaking news. Last night we were up all night covering the London fire. Now we're covering this. So if you do want to see more breaking news coverage, feel free to subscribe to our YouTube, to Right Side Broadcasting on YouTube. I'm sorry, I've been up all night. Subscribe to us on YouTube and click the notifications bell when you subscribe. And that way, when we go on in the future for live broadcasts, live breaking news coverage, you'll get notified. And hello to everybody on Facebook watching, by the way. Thanks for watching. Feel free to share the video if you want with other Facebook people. And thank you to the moderators for moderating the chat right now. I'm going to be on a little while longer here, as long as I can stay up. Just because I literally have not gone to bed yet from last night, so I apologize for my lower energy than normal. 2 Capitol officers were wounded, said Adam Goldman. Let's see. Matt Weiser of the Boston Globe says, it's very early on. We have a lot of witnesses to interview. The police chief says in Alexandria, the scene is still hot, gathering evidence. Let's watch this video from Fox and Friends and see what they had to report this morning. I'll play this video and I'll play the audio for you. Kellyanne Conway posted this video, a link to this video. She says, harrowing live accounts from senators and members of Congress, 10 minutes in eternity. So let's see this video for a second. I'm going to play this if I can. Hold on one sec.
Right field batting cage outside of the field, and the first thing we heard was a loud gunshot. And, I grew up in the South, so it wasn't that uncommon to hear like a shotgun go off, a random shotgun. And then we got to thinking, well, gosh, we're not really in the South and we're actually in the city. But then before we could think too much, but nobody really dove for the dirt with the first shot. Yeah. The first shot, there was a couple of seconds, but then there was a succession of maybe 5 or 10 shots in a row, and people began to drop. Representative Scalise was out at second base, probably about 50 yards from me. But there was in between he and I about a 10-foot fence, so there was no way for me to get to where he was. And it was also sort of a killing field. It was wide open with an AR-15. Then there's probably a burst of 50 to 60 shots.
Senator, why do you say it's an AR-15?
It's just people said the sound of it sounded like it, and it did appear that he had a rifle. But
so you saw the gunman?
Vaguely. I'm probably 75 yards. I was lucky in the sense that I had just been at home plate taking batting practice, and I was walking out, and sometimes Jeff Flake goes home with me, and he said, can I have a ride? And I said, yeah, I'm going to do one more turn in the batting cage. So I went to the batting cage, which turns out to be the farthest point from where the shooter was. I was 20 steps from him, but I was just the luck of happenstance. I happened to be walking away, and it was at the farthest point. So when the gunshots came in rapid succession, there was a big oak tree right behind the batting cage. I thought the shots were coming from the third base side, but it took, another 10 or 20 shots until I could, and then I was still guessing that they were coming from that side. I didn't know which side of the tree to stand on. Wow. And so inside the right field fence, a couple of staffers have raced around the track, but there's a 20-foot fence. I can't get to them. They can't get to me. But at some point, you've got to decide whether to stay, and if the gunman advances, you have no chance, or you got to run. So one of the staffers quickly climbed in about 2 seconds, climbed the 20-foot fence, hopped down beside me, and we're behind the tree. Still gunshots are, ringing out. Representative Scalise goes down. We can see him, but we can't get to him because really nobody could get to him until the gunman was brought down. There's probably 5 or 10 congressmen hunkering down in the first base dugout. The gunman's behind the third base dugout.
And where was Mr. Scalise's security detail?
They're usually in a black SUV somewhere around the field. And so at this point, the gunman's reloading. There's probably been 50 or 60 shots. We can't really see him that well, but my gut feeling was I've got to decide to stay or run. And at this point, I think he's advancing towards us. People are moving behind different buildings. Most everybody's closer to the gunman than I am. I'm at a distant point. But the staffer that made it over the fence, we were trying to decide to stay or go. And at this point, the Capitol Police began returning fire. I do believe that without the Capitol Hill Police, it would have been a massacre. We had no defense.
Senator,
we had no defense.
Senator,
we had no defense at all.
Okay, that was Rand Paul, who was at the baseball practice. He did not get shot, but some very scary scenes described there. We're covering the shooting that happened at the Republican Congressional Baseball practice this morning. Jeff Duncan says he believes he talked to the shooter in Alexandria. A man asked, is this a team of Republicans or Democrats practicing? Again, I think we should be careful of reading into this. Even if this was the shooter who asked this, it's possible the shooter was just going to shoot whoever was there and just was making conversation, It's possible the shooter said, I'm going to go out and kill some congressmen today. So we just don't know. We'll have to wait. To me, you got to wait for the authorities to have a better idea of why they did what they did. If there's even a reason, and it's not just like a crazy person with a crazy reason. Let's see. The shooter, as Steve Herman says, the shooter was apparently behind the dugout and hit Steve Scalise, who was on second base. Just looking to see if we have any updates here. And I'll be on a little while longer, I think. So if you want, you can always reach out to me on Twitter and send me your comments or your tweets or whatever. Miss Prim says they need to start carrying. This is only going to get worse in the CNN Democratic environment of fake news, Kathy Griffin style terrorism. And Jesse Lowe says, yeah, I fixed it, Congressman, not Senator. I've been up all night too with London fire news. Both of us, Jesse. That's why I am dragging this morning, because I have not gone to bed yet. But wanted to come on for you guys and cover this breaking news about this shooting at the Republican congressional baseball practice. And again, the two members of Congress were shot, Roger Williams and Steve Scalise. Steve Scalise was hit in the hip. He's in stable condition. Roger Williams, we saw some reports saying he was able to like walk over into and get onto a stretcher or hobble over to a stretcher. And we saw reports saying that he reportedly was doing okay. We'll see if we can get more information. And is there anything else here? Thank you. Lynn Jean gave a donation, by the way. Thank you so much, Lynn Jean. Appreciate it. She said, I can tell you what she said. She said, thanks, RSBN and Steve, for all-night coverage of London fire and congressional baseball shooting. You're welcome. This is what we're here for. Although I'd be doing a better job of this stream if I had slept at all last night and hadn't been waiting to go to bed. So I really do apologize. I am barely holding up here, but I wanted to see if there's any more information to give you about this. Polyshop says doing a great job. Steve, thanks, Polyshop. Polyshop, I know, was watching the London feed. If you don't know, there was a big fire in London last night, and we did a 7.5 hours stream covering it because it was going for so long. So it was a whole full thing. Is there anything else we can find here? I'm just looking. I don't see anything there. All right, I think, guys, in a minute I'm gonna have to go. I might have just reached the point where I might literally fall asleep on camera, so I totally apologize. Yeah, I'd rather not fall asleep when they're talking about this. Let's sum up what we know so far about this incident. So there was a congressional baseball practice this morning, a Republican baseball practice. I think their congressional baseball game is actually tomorrow, where the Republicans play the Democrats, I think. And that's a popular event in D.C. And at the baseball practice for the Republicans this morning, somebody started shooting the Republicans either in the dugout or near the dugout area. They shot about 50 shots. 5 people were hit, two congressmen. Steve Scalise was hit in the hip. Roger Williams was hit in some sense. They both reportedly are okay. I know Steve Scalise is reportedly in stable condition. And, oh, by the way, Greg Christensen just gave a donation and said, get yourself a couple of tall lattes. Thank you, Greg Christensen. It's very nice of you. Although I don't drink caffeine, but we'll find something. We'll probably use it to go to the President Trump rally next week. So the 2 congressmen were hit, but reportedly neither is life-threatening. And 2 Capitol policemen were hit, and a congressional aide was hit. And reportedly they're all in stable condition, which is good. So let's see here if there's just anything else that came up. And the suspect has been taken into custody. There was an earlier report the suspect was dead, but the suspect has reportedly been arrested and taken into custody. And we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see what this is, what the cause of this is, if they can figure out a cause. Now, if it is some kind of anti-Republican, shooting, then that's a big deal, and there's lots to talk about. But I hold off on assuming one thing or the other, especially when it gets to somebody who shoots people like this. Just seems like, got to be some kind of mental illness, mental difficulties there, and so I want to analyze someone like that really quickly and say this is what they're thinking. Seems to me like you're not going to get it right, or you're likely not to get it right, anyways. Jason Thornton writes in, Steve, you're a news beast. Thanks for covering all the news this morning. You went from the UK burning building to the current breaking news story. Mainstream media anchors can't hold a candle to you, sir. Well, they probably just wouldn't come on if they were this tired. They get commercial breaks to snack, hydrate, and take breaks. You're on your own except for your producer. Salute to RSBN for bringing us the straight news without the liberal bias. Keep up the great work. Regards from another RSBN loyalist, Jason Thornton. Very nice of you to say, Jason. Thank you so much for writing in. And do we have anything else new here? All right. I think at this point, I'm going to sign off because I need to get some sleep. This stream could go rapidly downhill, although it would just be me sleeping on the desk for hours and hours and you watching me sleep. But at Right Side Broadcasting, we're happy to hear that there were no more serious injuries than the ones we heard about. That there doesn't seem to be anybody who was injured, who with life-threatening injuries. And we're thinking about all the people that were hit and their families and everybody affected by this, and hope they have speedy recoveries, all of them, including Steve Scalise. And yeah, that's going to be it from here. So I want to thank. Let's see, everybody in the chat room, everybody watching on Facebook, thank you all for watching. Moderators, I see who was in there today. Lynn Jean was there, and Lynn Jean, thanks for your donation. Thank you so much. Thank you. Feel free to subscribe to us on YouTube, and like and favorite us on Facebook, and also if you like following breaking news, feel free to follow me on Twitter at Lookner, at Lookner, because I cover a lot of breaking news on my Twitter, and at RSB Network is where you can find Right Side Broadcasting Network on Twitter. So anyways, I won't see you probably till a little later today, I don't think I'll be at the Sean Spicer briefing. There might not be a pre-show for the Sean Spicer briefing because I might be asleep, to be quite honest, because that's only in a few hours. But anyways, so this was a bad incident here, but we will keep on it. We'll keep our eye on it. I'm guessing by the time I wake up, there might be more details. So, but anyways, thank you for tuning in. My apologies that I was so tired and that the stream was low energy just because I was up all night last night covering the London fire. So, but would rather, I felt it was better to come on the air and talk about this and give you some news than to not come on the air. So I want to come on the air, but now I need to go to bed. So have a good day, everyone out there. We will see you soon. Nick Fuentes is on at 4 p.m. Eastern time on Right Side Broadcasting today. America First with Nick Fuentes. I'm guessing he'll talk about this stuff. So give him check him out, and that's it. So thank you all for watching. We will see you soon, and enjoy your day until I see you next time from Right Side Broadcasting. Let me see if I can do this right. Okay, cool. Have a good one. Oh, and I'm still there. I'm so tired, I'm still there. Well, let me get rid of myself.